Now that we know how to create basic shapes, as we learned in the previous training video, we're going to create some more basic shapes, but we're going to find and learn out some more advanced features when it comes to working with those basic shapes. For example, I want to create a target, a bullseye, something that we can shoot at. You know, you have a board and then you have circles, each one smaller than the other as we go inside towards the center of the target. Well, to do that, come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Illustrations group, click on the Shapes drop-down arrow. And first of all, I want to create a board before I insert my circles. There's the rectangle, there's the oval, and as you recall in the previous training video, if I want to draw a square, I have to select the rectangle. If I want to draw a circle, I have to select the oval, because when you select it and you move your pointer down, you can see it's in drawing mode, it's got the black cross, that when you click and drag, it'll draw a rectangle, but when you hold down the Shift key, it pops it open into a perfect square. So let me go ahead and drag and let go, and cool, got my square. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down just a bit. Now, it gives me the default color for that square, which I don't like. I want to change that to a textured format, like that of wood, oak, or let's see what they've got. All you have to do is go ahead and right-click on the shape, go down to Format Shape, and then come up here and select that you want Picture or Texture Fill, and it'll give you some default texture. Click on the drop-down arrow. You can see all the different textures. I'm going to go ahead and you've got, let's see, when you hover over that one, it says Medium Wood. And this one's oak. We can stay with oak, select it, close out, and there it is. Next, I want to go ahead and draw my circles, or the targets, as we go towards the center of the board. The circles get smaller and smaller, the targets, so come back up here on the Format tab to the Insert Shapes group. We don't have to go back to the Insert tab, it's right here. As long as you have your shape selected, and then go ahead and let's click on Oval. To create a perfect circle, just go ahead and click and drag and hold down the Shift key. Now I'm going to go ahead and start in the upper left-hand corner, click and drag down, hold down the Shift key to pop it open, and I'm almost going to fill the entire square and let go, and then do it again. Click on the oval, hold down the Shift key, click and drag, and do each circle one smaller than the next. Then do it one more time, hold down the Shift key, and then maybe one more time. Okay, Shift, and there we go. Now, these circles aren't centered. I could go ahead and try to eyeball it and select this one and drag it to the center of that one, select that one, drag it to the center of that one, and so on. Better yet, Microsoft has a feature that will help you do that. It'll align all the objects that you select to center them and align them in the middle. To do that, just go ahead and we've got the first one selected. Hold down the Shift key, select the next one, Shift click the next one, Shift click the next one, and in fact, Shift click the board as well, because we want each object to be aligned in the center of the one that's behind it, of the one that's behind that, and so on. So after I selected all of them, come up here on the Format tab to the Arrange group, and then go ahead and hover over that. It's called the Align button. Click on the drop-down arrow. We want to align it to the center first, so everything's centered here, okay, and then go back up, click on the drop-down arrow, and then align it to the middle. So it's aligned vertically and horizontally perfectly. And then click off, and oh, that's fancy. Okay, let's go ahead and draw a star for fun in the center of it. Go ahead and click on Insert. Because I don't have an object selected, I'll have to go to the Insert tab to go to my shapes here, or I can select one and then come up to its related contextual tab, go to the Insert Shapes group here, that is on the Format tab, and there's my star, click on it, and then come in the middle, starting in the upper left hand corner, click and drag down, hold down the Shift key so it pops open, gives me a proportional shaped star, and not one that's more horizontal or vertical. Let go, and okay. So I can either go ahead and click and drag and try to get it to the middle, and when I click and drag, it's hard to move it incrementally unless I use the arrow keys on the keyboard, and if that's not incremental enough, then hold down the Control key and use the arrow keys, and it moves it in smaller increments. Still, I'm not getting it in the center of the circle, so, like we did before, go ahead and select the shapes that you want to align to the center and to the middle. There's the star, hold down the Shift key and select the circle behind it, and then come back up here on the Format tab to the Arrange group, click on the Align button. Let's align it to the middle. Okay, it moves it up just a little bit, so it's vertical, and then align to the center. And there we go. Click off, and looks good. Okay, next you may want to color these in, so go ahead and select your shape. Come up here to the Format tab, to the Shape Styles group, click on the Shape Fill. Let's choose yellow, that pops. And then let's go ahead and select a color for the center circle. We can make it red. In fact, what we can do is we can have the center circle, not the next one, but the one after that, also the same color as the center one. Hold down your Shift key and then select that one. It allows you to select the circle between this inner one and that outer one. So we have the inner circle, then we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, the third circle selected, in which case I can click on the Shape Fill drop down arrow and choose a color for that, make it red. Oh, that hurts. Or we can go to gradients, hover over that, come down and select more gradients, opens up, and we can go ahead and choose gradient fill. You can choose from any preset colors, so I can choose early sunset looks good. And then you can go ahead and mess with the gradient stops, so you can have, when you click and drag this, more purple, or click and drag it as it moves from purple to a lighter shade of purple to a lighter shade of red. You can choose how much color you want in there before it transitions to the next color. You can also change the brightness, transparency. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and close out and see what it looks like. Ooh, a little bit trippy on my eyes here, but you get the point. And I can go ahead and select this, the inner circle there, hold down the shift key, select the outer circle, do the same thing. In fact, I can right click on my selection, go down to Format Object, and let's choose Gradient Fill. There we go, brings it up again. So you can choose the different types, the direction, and right now it looks like it's linear diagonal, so you've got the brighter color in, the darker shade out. You can also reverse that and see if we can choose darker color inside, and then when it goes towards the lighter color or the lighter shade here on the outside, select that, click close, and wow, this is getting really bad. You may want to stop the video. Doesn't look all that great, but in any case, let me go ahead and select the inner and the outer. Let's do a simple shape field, something light, and let's go ahead and hold down the shift key and select the second inner circle and then the inner one, and let's go ahead and do shape fill, something that's not going to hurt our eyes here, something more pastel. Okay, easier to look at. And then the star, shape fill, select green, and not too bad. Next, I want to insert some arrows that point to the center of the bullseye, a couple of arrows. So to insert some more shapes, I can either go ahead and select one of them, and I get the related contextual tabs, or just come up here, click on the Insert tab, go to the Illustrations, click on Shapes, drop-down arrow. Let's choose the arrow here, click on that, and then click and drag, and whoops, by default, the pointy part of the arrow points outward. If I want to go ahead and flip that, make sure it's selected, then come up here on its related Format tab to the Shape Styles group, click on the Shapes outline, go down to Arrows, and notice how it's pointing outwards. We want it pointed inwards, plus we get some other options. How about if we have it pointed inwards, but we use the arrow style number 6? Ooh, pretty fancy. Let's go ahead and select that. That looks good. And the thickness of the arrow is pretty wimpy. So let me go ahead and click on Shape Outline again, go down to Weight, and let's give it something meatier. Ooh, 4.5 point, looks nice. And then if I hover over the resizing handle at the left, I can click and drag it and pull it and stretch it and point it to the center there. And then I can hover over the right side and click and drag that and move it in. Okay. And then the color, of course, you can change that. Come up here in the Shape Styles. Let's see what they got for styles. That includes a shadow and some color. Or let me click off. I can go ahead and choose the shape outline, choose a different color, maybe red. That pops a little bit too harsh, doesn't it? How about something more pastel orange? Okay, we'll select that one. Now once I've got my arrow, and let's say that I want to go ahead and create another one just like that, but coming from another angle and maybe not hitting it right on the target here, what I can do, instead of redrawing all this and recreating it, I can hold down the Control key and hit the D for duplicate. That's the shortcut key that allows me to duplicate whatever I had selected. In which case I can just go ahead and grab the tail end of it, swing it down, grab the front of it, and draw it back and say, oh, we didn't really make the target here. The first time we did, maybe the second time we didn't. And then I can click and drag on the arrow itself and move it in without resizing it. That looks good. And then if I want to go ahead and create what are called callouts, if you ever read the newspaper where they draw cartoons and they have little thought bubbles above their head or little circles that are drawn to the mouth, those are called callouts. To go ahead and create one, let's go ahead and come up here, click on the More button for Insert Shapes, and go down to callouts there. You can see we've got an oval callout, a thought callout. They call it a cloud callout, but it has, a bunch of little bubbles going up. Let's go ahead and do an oval callout. Click on it. My pointer turns into a black cross. Click and drag diagonally down and to the right, and then let go. My cursor's flashing in the middle of it. I can go ahead and type some text and say Team A. They're on target. And then I can hover over the border of it till I see a four-way arrow, click and drag that to move the shape around. And then if I want the tip of the callout to be right next or right on top of that arrow, just go ahead and hover over that yellow diamond, click and drag it and stretch it and move it over. There we go. And click and drag that down a bit and then click and drag that up so the tip hits it right there. Looks good. And then of course, like I said, if I want to go ahead and create that without having to go through all the steps again, because I have it selected, hold down the Control key, hit the letter D, duplicates it, then I can hover over the border, click and drag that down because this is going to be Team B, and then click in it, and then just go ahead and type over it B, and in fact I can drag that down a bit more, then grab the yellow diamond and drag that up, and then finally with these callouts, when I go ahead and select one, I can change the color of it, the feel, the outline, the effects. You can also right click on it and go down to Format Shape. You can change it in the pop-up window here, get a little bit more detailed. I'm going to go ahead and choose Picture or Texture Feel. If I want to insert a picture or Clipart, go ahead and I'll select Files. So I have to look on my computer to find a picture, double click and find one. Ooh, tulips. Double click and close out, and alright. In any case, you get the point. When I'm finished with my collage here of all these different shapes, and I want to go ahead and move this to, let's say, another document, well, you can select one shape and hold down the Control key and copy it and paste it. No, that's not going to work because you have to copy, well, several shapes. What I want to do is I want to group all the shapes together. To do that, you can go ahead and click off and do Control A, and it selects all the shapes, but if you have other objects within your document, that's not a wise choice. So you go ahead and select the first shape, hold down the Shift key, and consecutively click all the other shapes, and you got quite a few to choose from, the arrows, the callouts. And once I have them all selected, then I can either go ahead and right click on the selection and go down to Group, which is probably a lot easier because it's right there without me having to come up here, click on the Format tab, and then come over here to the Arrange Group and then click on the Group drop down arrow to group it. Right clicking's better. It groups all the shapes together, that way it moves it as one. So I can click and drag it to move it down, to move it up. Also I can right click on the shape, go to Copy, and then go File, to New, double click Blank Document, and then go ahead and paste it. Click on the Paste button on the Home tab. See? It copied all the shapes because it saw it as one group. Now if I need to make changes to, let's say, some of the colors within the group here, I need to break it up because if I do any formatting now, it applies to the entire group. So to go ahead and break this up, right click, go down to Group and Ungroup. And you can see all the different selections of all the different shapes. Go ahead and click off, then select one, and then come up there, click on the Format tab, and make any changes you would like. Whatever brings out the inner artist in you. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.